Hello and welcome to our special broadcast while tributes continue to pour in as former External Affairs Sushma Swaraj's body has been kept at the BJP headquarters at the moment for making sure that leaders cutting across party lines and people from all walks of life can come and pay their last respects to the beloved leader.
बिल्कुल। और पूर्व विदेश मंत्री और बीजेपी की वरिष्ठ नेता सुषमा स्वराज अब हमारे बीच नहीं रही हैं। दिल का दौरा पड़ने से मंगलवार रात उनका निधन हो गया। वो 67 साल की थी। उन्हें कल रात सीने में दर्द की शिकायत के बाद एम्स लाया गया था, जहां डॉक्टर्स की लाख कोशिशों के बावजूद उन्हें नहीं बचाया जा सका। दिल्ली सरकार ने सुषमा स्वराज के निधन पर 2 दिन के राजकीय शोक का ऐलान किया है। दोपहर 3 बजे तक बीजेपी कार्यालय में सुषमा स्वराज के पार्थिव शरीर को अंतिम दर्शन के लिए रखा गया है। 3 बजे के बाद उनका अंतिम संस्कार किया जाएगा। 67 साल की सुषमा राजनीति में 25 बरस की उम्र में आई थी। बीजेपी की ओजस्वी वक्ताओं में शुमार सुषमा का जन्म 14 फरवरी 1952 को हरियाणा के अंबाला छावनी में हुआ था। 1977 में महज 25 साल की उम्र में वो हरियाणा सरकार में कैबिनेट मंत्री बन गई थी। नेतृत्व क्षमता के लिहाज से सुषमा स्वराज को बीजेपी में दूसरी पीढ़ी का नेता कहा जाता है। आज पूरा देश उन्हें नम आंखों से विदाई दे रहा है। 3 बजे तक बीजेपी कार्यालय में उनके अंतिम दर्शन किए जा सकते हैं, जहां सुबह से ही लोगों का तांता लगा हुआ है। तमाम वरिष्ठ नेता उनके दर्शन के लिए, अंतिम दर्शन के लिए पहुंच रहे हैं। 67 साल की उम्र में सुषमा स्वराज का एम्स में निधन हो गया है। काफ़ी समय से उन्हें सीने में दर्द की शिकायत हो रही थी और उसके बाद उन्हें एम्स में भर्ती किया गया था। पूर्व विदेश मंत्री और बीजेपी की वरिष्ठ नेता सुषमा स्वराज के निधन पर राजनीतिक हस्तियों ने शोक जताया है। राष्ट्रपति रामनाथ कोविंद ने सुषमा स्वराज के घर पर पहुंचकर श्रद्धांजलि दी। राष्ट्रपति ने उनके परिजनों से मुलाकात की और उनको ढांढस बताया।
Indeed, tributes are pouring in from all quarters. Early in the morning, we saw Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also arriving at the residence of Sushma Swaraj and paying his last respects to the leader. Earlier in the morning, in fact, yesterday he had tweeted as well, where he had said that how this is not only a great loss for the nation, but also for the party and a personal loss for him as well.
जी हाँ, उपराष्ट्रपति एम वेंकैया नायडू ने सुषमा स्वराज को भावभीनी श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित की। सुषमा स्वराज के निधन पर उपराष्ट्रपति ने ट्वीट करके दुख जताते हुए कहा कि सुषमा स्वराज का निधन देश के लिए बहुत बड़ी क्षति है।
And then we saw Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well, wherein he paid his last respects to the beloved leader. And those visuals, we could see that Prime Minister Narendra Modi got emotional as well. He spoke to the family members of Sushma Swaraj and expressed his condolences to the family.
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी भी सुषमा स्वराज के घर पहुंचे। उन्होंने उन्हें भावभीनी श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित की। इस दौरान प्रधानमंत्री भावुक भी हो गए। उन्होंने सुषमा स्वराज के परिजनों से बात की और अपनी संवेदना व्यक्त की। तो वहीं लोकसभा अध्यक्ष ओम बिरला ने भी पूर्व विदेश मंत्री और बीजेपी की वरिष्ठ नेता सुषमा स्वराज को श्रद्धांजलि दी।
And apart from that, Home Minister Amit Shah also reached the residence of Sushma Swaraj in the morning, and he also expressed his condolences.
सुषमा जी के असामयिक निधन से मैं खुद और भारतीय जनता पार्टी के करोड़ों कार्यकर्ता और देश में उनको उनके करोड़ों चाहने वाले क्षुब्ध हैं, दुखी हैं। देश भर की राजनीति के लिए बहुत बड़ी क्षति है। सुषमा जी इमरजेंसी के समय से ही देश के राजनीतिक नभ की एक चमकती हुई सितारे के रूप में उभर कर आई। दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री, देश की लोकसभा में विपक्ष की नेता और कई मंत्रालयों के मंत्री के रूप में उन्होंने अटल जी और मोदी जी की सरकार में एक कुशल प्रशासक की तरह काम किया। विदेश मंत्री के नाते गत 5 सालों में सुषमा जी ने मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में देश की ख्याति दिगंत तक पहुंचाने का काम किया। आज उनके जाने से एक बड़ी रिक्तता भारत के राजनीतिक क्षेत्र में खड़ी हुई है, जो लंबे समय तक मैं मानता हूं भर नहीं पाएंगे। आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी के करोड़ों कार्यकर्ता और भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पूरा नेतृत्वगण और व्यक्तिगत तौर पर मैं भी सभी अत्यंत दुख के साथ सुषमा जी को विदाई लेने के लिए अपना मन तैयार कर रहे हैं। मैं प्रभु से प्रार्थना करता हूं उनके परिवारजनों को ये आघात को सहन करने की शक्ति दे और स्वर्गीय सुषमा जी की आत्मा को चिर शांति प्रदान करे और देश उनकी सेवाओं को हमेशा हमेशा के लिए याद रखेगा।
वहीं यूपीए अध्यक्ष सोनिया गांधी ने भी सुषमा स्वराज के घर पहुंचकर उन्हें श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित की।
दुनिया भर में भारतीय संस्कृति की प्रखर राजदूत श्री सुषमा जी थी, जिन्होंने भारतीय संस्कृति और भारत का पक्ष प्रखर रूप से विश्व के हर देशों के अंदर रखा। भारतीय राजनीतिक स्थिति का एक चमकता हुआ सूर्य आज श्री श्रीमती सुषमा स्वराज जी के रूप में अस्त हो गया। एक कुशल प्रशासक, संवेदनशील राजनेता, एक ओजस्वी प्रखर नेता के रूप में उन्होंने अपनी छवि बनाई थी। चाहे संसद के अंदर सत्ता पक्ष के मंत्री के रूप में हो, चाहे प्रतिपक्ष के नेता के रूप में हो, चाहे राज्यसभा के नेता के रूप में, उन्होंने एक सजग प्रखर रूप से अपनी बात सदन में हमेशा रखी थी। आज हम एक कुशल राजनेता को खोकर सारा देश दुखी है।
सुषमा जी का जाना देश का नुकसान है, पार्टी का नुकसान है और व्यक्तिगत रूप से मेरा भी बहुत बड़ा नुकसान है। सुषमा जी भारतीय राजनीति में ऐसी एक महिला थी कि उन्होंने चाल चलन, व्यवहार और चरित्र से एक आदर्श भारतीय नारी की प्रतिमा भारतीय राजनीति में दी। विशेष रूप से इमरजेंसी के बाद उनका राजनीतिक उदय हुआ और उसके बाद में वो लगातार उस समय भारतीय जनता पार्टी की स्थापना से भारतीय जनता पार्टी के विस्तार में उनका बहुत बड़ा योगदान रहा। मैं जब पार्टी का अध्यक्ष था तो एक बड़े बहन के रूप में लगातार मुझे मार्गदर्शन करती थी, मेरी चिंता करती थी। मेरा स्वास्थ्य बीच में ठीक नहीं था तो उनने खुद आकर डॉक्टर मेरे घर पर ले आई और मेरा पूरा चेकिंग करने का आग्रह किया। एक बड़ी बहन मेरी जो है वो तो चली गई, उसी प्रकार की माया और प्रेम उन्होंने मुझे दिया। एक राजनीति में विदेश मंत्री के रूप में पूरे दुनिया में उन्होंने भारत की आन बान और सम्मान बढ़ाया।
इससे पहले पूर्व विदेश मंत्री सुषमा स्वराज के निधन की खबर मिलते ही उपराष्ट्रपति एम वेंकैया नायडू बीती रात एम्स पहुंचे और सुषमा स्वराज को भावभीनी श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित की।
All right, we have with us our colleague Akhilesh Suman, who is joining us from outside the BJP headquarters in New Delhi. We also have with us Mr. Shekhar Iyer, senior journalist, joining us in the studio. Thank you both of you, gentlemen, for joining us on Rajya Sabha TV. Shekhar, if I can come to you first, she was once dubbed as the super mom of India by Washington Post. And, she leaves behind such a rich legacy, such a void that will be difficult to be filled. How do you look at the legacy of Sushma Swaraj?
Indeed, she has left a big vacuum because she was a different kind of politician. I have known her for more than 30 years as a reporter who was covering BJP. And through the 3 decades or more of my personal interactions, I found her to be a very sharp politician, but at the same time, there was a humane side to her. She may be known as perhaps India's first public or people's foreign minister, because that was the style. We normally think ministries of external affairs or defense are all about strategy, counter strategy, about long-term interests and all that. But she brought the human side to it. And contrary to the impression that she was not deeply involved in the last 5 years of the shaping of Narendra Modi's policy, she was very much involved. She coordinated with the Prime Minister, carried out whatever he wanted. I mean, that is one thing. And the second thing is, some of the most important events, the last 5 years, I would say, she played a role, but always willing to do what she was expected of her. But what we must remember is, particularly the role she played in terms of handling those medical visas from Pakistan. Also the SOS sent by Indian diaspora, also traveling Indian businessmen or tourists or families who is to get into some problem, and she would herself respond even as late as 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And we cannot forget the massive evacuation efforts that were undertaken of Indian nationals from Yemen, from Iraq, some of these very crisis points where she, along with her deputy, the then Minister of State, V.K. Singh, she used to coordinate. And how can we forget the sympathies and with the care and tenderness she handled the Sarbajit family. Also in the Kulbhushan Jadhav case, yesterday only we have come to know from Harish Salve, the senior lawyer and advocate, that he had spoken to her in the evening, and where she wanted him to come and take from her that 1 rupee which she wanted to give it to him as a sort of a, because Harish Salve fought that Kulbhushan Jadhav's case in the International Court of Justice completely free of cost because for India. And she wanted to give him that 1 rupee because she had promised him 1 rupee. So this was, there is not a single person who has come in touch with her or interact with her, left behind with an impression that here was a lady who was quintessentially that Indian woman, you know, in all its shape, conservative in some aspects, but very modern in certain others, sharp politician, and it all depends on which side of her you got to saw.
बिल्कुल, और उनके इसी व्यक्तित्व को लेकर पूरा देश आज उन्हें याद कर रहा है। उनके साथ कुछ बिताए हुए पलों को लेकर भी हम बातचीत करेंगे अखिलेश सुमन से, जो विदेश मामलों के जानकार हैं, मेरे वरिष्ठ सहयोगी हैं। अखिलेश सुमन जी, अगर सुषमा स्वराज के व्यक्तित्व के बारे में हम यहाँ पर बात करें, आज हम उनकी उपलब्धियों के बारे में बात कर रहे थे, लेकिन जिस तरह से वो मदद को तत्पर रहती हैं हमेशा दूसरों की, और जिस तरह से अगर भारतीय पक्ष की बात करें अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मंच पर, जिस तरह से भारतीय पक्ष को भी वो दमदार तरीके से रखती थी, इसे किस तरह से आप देखेंगे?
देखिए, जिस तरह से मदद की बात आपने की, सुषमा स्वराज ने एक तरीके से कहें कि विदेश मंत्रालय का पूरा हुलिया बदल दिया। जो विदेश मंत्रालय यह माना जाता था कि एलिट ब्यूरोक्रेट्स और एलिट मंत्री जो होते हैं वो विदेश मंत्रालय में सुशोभित होते हैं, लेकिन सुषमा स्वराज ने उसको निश्चित तौर पे पीपुल्स मंत्रालय बना दिया, जनता का मंत्रालय बना दिया, और उन्होंने अपने प्रयासों से जनता से इस तरह से जोड़ा कि जिसको भी कहीं अगर विदेश में मदद की जरूरत हो, वो विदेश में सुषमा स्वराज उनकी मदद के लिए तत्पर रहती थी, चाहे वो सुदूर का इलाका हो या बॉम्बे दिल्ली जैसे लोगों का इलाका हो। देखिए, मेरे सामने मेरे साथ अभी एक एक व्यक्ति हैं, वो झारखंड के हैं और उनका एक अपना अनुभव है किस तरह से सुषमा स्वराज ने एक समय झारखंड के लोगों की मदद की। अवनीश कुमार है हमारे साथ, वो अवनीश बताएंगे कि किस तरह से सुषमा स्वराज जी ने आपको, आपके लोगों को मदद की थी।
सबसे पहले तो मैं झारखंड की तरफ से और बिहार की तरफ से मैं उनकी आत्मा को शांति के लिए मैं उनकी आत्मा की शांति के लिए दुख व्यक्त करता हूँ। मुझे एक वाकया याद है कि झारखंड के टाटा नगर के कुछ मुसलमान भाई लोग थे, केरल के कुछ लोग थे, वो लोग सऊदी अरब में नौकरी करने के लिए गए थे और उन्होंने जब मुझसे बोला कि वहाँ पर किसी मुंबई के एजेंट के द्वारा फंस गए हैं, और जब मैं दोबारा पार्लियामेंट हाउस चल रही थी उस समय, मैंने उन लोगों का सारा डिटेल्स लेके और जब मैं सुषमा स्वराज जी से मिला तो उन्होंने एक ही बार में मुंबई के कुछ एजेंटों को बुलाकर अपने मंत्रालय में उन लोगों को वापस इंडिया सिर्फ 2 दिन के ही अंदर सऊदी से जो फंसे हुए थे 23 लोग, उनको भारत बुला लिया गया। तो वो वाकया मुझे याद है और मैं स्तब्ध हूँ कि हमने एक ऐसे नेता को खोया है जो एक कार्यकर्ता के साथ किस तरह से बिहेव करती थी, जैसे लगता था हमारे घर के वो लोग हैं।
तो आपने सुना कि किस तरीके से सुषमा स्वराज आम लोगों की मदद के लिए तत्पर रहती थी और खास करके ऐसे लोगों को जो किसी संकट में हैं, जो ठगे गए हैं। और जिस तरह से आप जानते हैं कि विदेश मंत्री के पूरे मंत्रालय के अंदर एक ओवरसीज इंडियन अफेयर्स का भी मंत्रालय जुड़ा हुआ रहता है, तो उस ओवरसीज मंत्रालय की तरफ से उन्होंने विदेश मंत्रालय को जनता की सेवा करने वाला मंत्रालय बना दिया। और जहां तक अंतर्राष्ट्रीय राजनीति में सुषमा स्वराज के हस्तक्षेप की बात है, तो एक बहुत बड़ा नमूना मैं इसको बताऊंगा कि किस तरीके से भारत की एक जो सांस्कृतिक एक पुरानी थाती थी योगा, उस योगा को उन्होंने अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मंच पे इस तरीके से स्थापित किया कि संयुक्त राष्ट्र को अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योगा डे घोषित करना पड़ा। और सबसे कम समय में, संयुक्त राष्ट्र संघ के इतिहास में सबसे कम समय में किसी एक प्रस्ताव को पारित करने का अगर श्रेय जाता है तो वो भारत के प्रस्ताव के मुताबिक अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योगा डे को जाता है। और उस योगा डे के निर्माण को मनवाने में सुषमा स्वराज ने कितने बड़े संपर्क किए, तकरीबन सभी देशों के साथ उन्होंने बात की, चाहे वो पश्चिमी देश हों, चाहे वो मिडिल ईस्ट के देश हों, चाहे वो एशिया के देश हों, तो सभी देशों ने अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योगा दिवस को समर्थन किया। और आज भी आप देखते हैं कि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योगा दिवस तकरीबन सभी देशों में मनाया जाता है। तो सुषमा स्वराज ने जो भारत की कितनी बड़ी भूमिका हो सकती है अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पटल पे, उस भूमिका को सुषमा स्वराज ने स्थापित किया उस माध्यम से, संयुक्त राष्ट्र के माध्यम से। और उसके अलावा जो मैं आपको बताऊं कि
stay with us. We'll just come back to you because we need to understand this from our guest as well. Sir, as Akhilesh is also telling us, he has covered foreign affairs for RSTV for long. But, you know, and the gentleman there was also talking about the fact that how Sushma Swaraj was actually people's person, how the people connect was so important to her. But at the same time, we must also remember that during her tenure as the Minister of External Affairs, there were many challenges that came in India's way. For example, the surgical strikes, the Doklam standoff, all these were big, big challenges that came in front of us. And yet, the way she handled those, all the challenges head on, that also need to be appreciated.
Yeah, I will particularly recall December 2015. We all knew how Prime Minister Modi dramatically flew to Lahore.
Yes.
That was Nawaz Sharif's, I think his daughter's birthday or engagement, one of those very personal, important day for Nawaz Sharif.
Yes.
And Modi suddenly landed there and he flew by helicopter to his house.
Yes.
But the whole thing was tied up by Sushma Swaraj because she had met Nawaz Sharif in one of those visits where Nawaz Sharif had told Sushma that he would like Prime Minister Modi to come there. And it could not be done in a very official bilateral visit because in terms of talks there were a lot of differences and nothing could be formalized. But Nawaz Sharif wanted that to happen and she came back and conveyed. And finally when it happened and Modi ji spent a day there when he was returning home after a foreign visit. And that whole thing that went in, you know, we used to ask Sushma ji how this happened. Who did the talking? Of course, when it was all over, she was explaining that how it all happened. Similarly, after the Doklam standoff, which you just mentioned,
yes,
which was one of those most, I would say, a crisis in the Indo-China relations or Sino-Indian relations. After that, in terms of de-escalation, Prime Minister Modi sent Sushma ji to Beijing. And after that came that one summit where both the leaders, both Modi and Xi Jinping,
yes,
agreed to on several measures to de-escalate tension.
Yes.
So there are several areas where we know for sure she was an active player, but always willing to be in limelight as much she thought it was needed. Otherwise, but more, I think above all, to understand the personality of Sushma ji, you'll have to understand how her equations changed with Prime Minister Modi. See, in 2013, when the clamor was growing within the party that Modi should be projected as the Prime Minister, there were equally loyalists of Advani ji who felt that the time, Advani ji should be given a chance once again, because he was projected in 2009 and BJP did not win, that he needed to be projected again.
Yes.
Sushma ji was one person who was strongly supported Advani ji. She perhaps felt that Advani should become PM for some time. So that was the time when there was, I would say, between the loyalists of Advani and pro-changers who wanted who wanted Modi to be projected. We saw what happened in Goa National Executive. And finally, Modi was first named as the chief of the campaign committee. But once he was finally declared as a Prime Minister candidate sometime in the end of 2013, she began working with him. And subsequent to that, after Narendra Modi ji, Rajnath ji, it was third who took oath in 2014 was Sushma ji. And he made a foreign minister.
Yes.
Both the leaders, despite their, Sushma ji not being very enthusiastic about Modi's candidature, but agreed and worked with him.
Yes.
That showed the kind of maturity shown by both the leaders.
Absolutely.
She worked very hard, and particularly that dimension she brought. Because, and the other question people used to ask her, that those tweets and her responses to tweets, whether they were actually hers or she got a team to do it.
Yes, absolutely.
She would say, look, there is no ghost sending out those tweets. They go out, those are my responses. This is the way she could, and of course we have not forgotten that one of those early tweets, somebody tweeted to her saying, my refrigerator is cocked out, can you help?
Yes.
She said, here I am here to, not to fix your machines, but to
help people.
Human distress.
Yes, human distress.
लेकिन शेखर अय्यर जी, अब उस कमी को आप किस तरह से देखते हैं? जिस तरह से आपने भी जिक्र किया है कि कोई उनसे मदद मांगता था, वो तुरंत ट्विटर पर उसका रिप्लाई करती थी, उस तक मदद पहुंचाती थी। और अगर हम उनके करिश्माई व्यक्तित्व की भी हम यहाँ पर बात करें तो हम तस्वीरें भी लगातार दिखा रहे हैं, चाहे पक्ष हो या फिर विपक्ष का नेता हो, हर कोई उनकी अंतिम यात्रा में शामिल होने के लिए, उनके अंतिम दर्शन के लिए पहुँच रहा है।
इसका कारण यही है कि उनकी व्यक्तित्व जीवन में जो कोई उनकी राजनीति से प्रेरित हो या ना हो, लेकिन उनकी जो डीलिंग्स हमेशा रही, वो कार्यकर्ता हो, विदेश के नेता हो, कोई भी हो, कोई आम पब्लिक से कोई भी हो, लेकिन उनका हमेशा यही था कि वो कभी नहीं देखती थी ये क्या है मेरे सामने जो है। उनकी अगर कोई तकलीफ है, अगर वो दूर कर सकते, वो करती थी, और हमेशा उस हिसाब से करती थी जैसे जब, इसीलिए तो आज भी आप सुन रहे हैं, जैसे वो जो पाकिस्तान के जो एक हिंदू बच्ची जिनकी यहाँ पे आई हुई थी, जिनकी एडमिशन के लिए दिक्कत था, मेडिकल एडमिशन के लिए, उनके नाम महेश्वरी है, और उन्होंने को बुलाया, उनसे उनकी ट्वीट देकर बुलाया, बातचीत किया और तुरंत उनको कर्नाटक में एडमिशन की व्यवस्था की। तो जब वो ऐसी समस्या को हैंडल कर रही थी, वैसी करती थी जैसे कोई एक कंसर्न मदर करेगी। मतलब ये एक अपने आप में, मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई ऐसा कोई एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर आया हो जो इन चीज़ों को समझेंगे। किसी का, मान लीजिए किसी का पेरेंट का डेथ हो गया, उनकी बॉडी लानी हो, क्या उनके पास पैसे नहीं है, और हमेशा कहती थी हमारे एम्बेसडर्स को, इनवॉइस को, ठीक है हमारे काम, मेन काम डिप्लोमेसी है, लेकिन साथ साथ क्योंकि भारत ऐसा एक विकसित देश बन गया है, जैसे देखिए अमेरिका का कोई सिटीजन कहीं भी कुछ हो जाए, तुरंत अमेरिकन गवर्नमेंट उनके लिए मदद करना, जो भी करना करेगी। तो प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी भी यही चाहते थे। कहीं ना कहीं उनकी ट्यूनिंग ऐसी थी, जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर का जो विजन में था कि हमारे दूतावास केवल एक डिप्लोमेटिक एक्टिविटी के लिए नहीं है, एक अपना ट्रेड और इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी बढ़ाए, दूसरा इस तरह जो समस्या होते हैं उसको भी करना है। नहीं तो आप बताइए, इराक, आपके यमन में इतने लोग बाहर निकला है, और केवल भारतीय जो नौसेना और बाकी जो हमारे आर्म्ड फोर्सेस जो रेस्क्यू में लगे हुए थे, केवल भारतीयों को नहीं निकाले, बाकी जो अमेरिकन थे, ब्रिटिश थे, उनको भी निकाले।
So that's a very important point that you have made about being like a mother figure in even taking care of the foreign affairs. That was the personality of Sushma Swaraj. Akhilesh Suman is with us. He handled the External Affairs Ministry for RSTV. Akhilesh, we are talking about the personality of Sushma Swaraj, how strong woman she was, and how Prime Minister Narendra Modi could see that quality in her. That despite their differences, he made sure that she gets a very important ministry, that of the Ministry of External Affairs, so that her qualities are really taken advantage of for the country. Being a woman, it is not easy being a woman Indian politician. But the way she set examples, Akhilesh, we'd like you to throw some light on that, how she became a mother figure, but in the beginning of her career, how she was a very, very aggressive and ambitious politician. And then she later went on to show such maturity at a world stage as well. And in Parliament, her speeches were appreciated by one and all.
I remember, Aishwarya, that the way Sushma Swaraj presented herself, you will not feel any ambitious person who is doing something out of the way or who is trying to project herself out of the way. She was very natural in her expressions, and whatever feelings were there with her, she expressed very fiercely and very forcefully. And that is why she was accepted and appreciated by all. I will just tell you one example that I remember, and when she became the External Affairs Minister, I also referred to her on this incident. That was the incident of civil nuclear deal that was mooted by UPA government led by Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, and that was very fierce debate between opposition and the UPA camp. And in Rajya Sabha, Sushma Swaraj was given the charge from BJP to speak on that issue. Everyone was a bit surprised that how Sushma Swaraj will speak on this issue that is full of technicalities. Nuclear deal was not only an issue of diplomacy, but rather it was issue of technicalities, it was issue of trade, it was issue related to India's sovereignty. So many issues were intertwined. And when Sushma Swaraj spoke, it was a fluent, forceful Hindi she spoke, and the whole house was stunned. The Rajya Sabha whole house was stunned, being from treasury benches, being from opposition parties, and those who are fence-sitters sitting in the neutral benches. Everyone was so stunned and so appreciative of Sushma Swaraj that UPA for a moment was, shocked that who will they put for another as another speaker to give reply to Sushma Swaraj's all deliberations. And then came Ambika Soni. Just I think it was a woman versus woman. And Ambika Soni, the first sentence Ambika Soni uttered was, Sushma ji, आप बहुत अच्छा हिंदी बोलती हैं, बहुत अच्छी हिंदी भाषा आपकी है, लेकिन कृपया इस तरीके से उसका उपयोग ना करें. उनका कहने का मतलब था कि आपने जो भाषा का उपयोग किया है वो बहुत ही फोर्सफुल था. So this was Sushma Swaraj who could speak on the issue she was not known for, but she could deliver the best for the party and for the issue she was, and that is how when she was given External Affairs Ministry, everyone was also again surprised that she was will be doing External Affairs Ministry, that is core to the heart of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and given the past that there was some communication gap between the two. The day Sushma Swaraj accepted the charge of Foreign Ministry, I think the day all the differences vanished. And that was the best coordination between a Foreign Minister and a Prime Minister, and also the officials of both South Bloc ministries, External Affairs Ministry and the PMO. And you can see the best results, in the last 5 years the foreign policy front could be achieved was the best coordination between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. Sushma Swaraj went with Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the first visit, that was Bhutan in 2014. And after that, Sushma Swaraj never went with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So she was sitting here in Delhi or on some other tour, preparing for the next visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi or negotiating some agreement with another country. So both Prime Minister and External Affairs Minister were working in tandem, meeting in different parts of the globe, working on different tasks simultaneously, and coming to Delhi and converging on the issues of concern of Indian foreign policy. So I think this was Sushma Swaraj who had taken the foreign policy to a level that is still incomparable in the past. You know that if I go beyond foreign policy, I was also covering Rajya Sabha proceedings those days also, and she was health minister. And the health minister, Sushma Swaraj, was the health minister who challenged that why AIMS will be only in Delhi. Why AIMS cannot be expanded in other parts of the country, and during her tenure it was declared that there will be 6 AIMS institutions in many parts of the country, and after those 6 AIMS, another AIMS were also created by other coming government. So this was a major step as a health minister in Sushma Swaraj's tenure. And if you
Chandrakar,
go
that
back
is
as an
the
information
strength of her
broadcasting
personality.
minister, she was the
Akhilesh, stay with us. That is the strength of her personality. That is why she has so many firsts to her name. Being at the age of 25, being the first state cabinet minister, becoming the Delhi's first chief minister. Many firsts to her credit because of her strong personality, because of that fire in her, and at the same time maintaining that individuality in making sure that she sticks to her principle, her thought process.
Well, you see, you will have to just imagine Haryana of 1977.
Yes.
I mean, here is a young girl from Ambala who has made for herself. I mean, you can imagine that situation where in a male-dominated scenario, she comes and she is a lawyer for George Fernandez, who was
Yes.
detained under visa, she and her husband. And then, she gets into politics. And at 25, she becomes an MLA. And Devilal finally makes her a minister. And she's the first woman cabinet minister of Haryana.
Yes.
And there is a joke used to be said, finally when she joined Vajpayee ji's cabinet, the joke used to be that Devilal once told Vajpayee ji that, you have to handle this girl, as he would call, with care, because she is extremely, very firm, very assertive. So, and also the fact that she had the gift of the gab.
Yes.
Beautiful oratory. She did her honors in Sanskrit and studied political science also. But when it came to her Hindi, people would just, I have seen in Parliament when she would speak, either in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, people would wait for her to speak, and many opposition members, when she was a minister and she was answering opposition, or when she was opposition leader and, launching an attack on the government side, even they would forget that this is something that's being said against them, because the sheer, I would say, her oratory of Hindi, a choice of words, would carry the day. And there was another thing about her. She had a fantastic memory. Without a piece of paper, she can tell you about any complicated thing which has a lot of dates and figures. And see, even I have got some points written down today, particularly to highlight my own experiences with her. But she could just rattle on, and she had tremendous memory. She could remember whoever she met and whoever with she interacted, she would ask their first name. And years later, when she met them again, she had the capacity to call them by the first name, which I think is a tremendous quality in a politician who meets so many people. They keep on meeting people.
True.
And then she had this quality. That is why today, for all of us, whatever interactions we have had, we always feel that, oh my God, this has happened. Because then you all recall, like for instance, today I just found on the website, on Rediff, a journalist, Anita Soluja, she met her yesterday. She was perhaps the last journalist who met her yesterday. And she has recorded her, her last meeting. And there was another dimension to her, which was also that she loved Krishna bhajans. She was greatly fond of Lord Krishna. And she told me once that is why she named her daughter Bansuri.
Bansuri, yes.
And in her rooms, even in the Parliament House, you had that beautiful portrait of Krishna in black. That's a very famous portrait. She had it in a Parliament room also. And I used to often ask her, from where did you get this? And she would always be, I would say, she was one willing to be very free with journalists. And since she was a spokesperson, and those were the times when BJP was at the receiving end. I'm talking of the period post Babri Masjid demolition. And Indian politics was evolving into two poles. On one side, you had the so-called secular parties, and the other side, BJP.
Yes.
कि ऐसे समय में एक पार्टी की प्रवक्ता बनना, वो भी एक महिला प्रवक्ता, मेरे ख्याल में वो पहली महिला प्रवक्ता थी कम से कम इस जनरेशन ऑफ पॉलिटिशियन के. और पार्टी की बात रखना। और उस समय अच्छा उस
Challenges
जमाने में
से तो
इतने
कभी
टीवी
नहीं
डिबेट
डरी
नहीं
वो।
होते थे, जो भी प्रवक्ता का प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस था वही सबसे बड़ा उस पार्टी का विचार रखने का एक माध्यम था। सो इसलिए यू नो
She never was ever shy of challenges in her life. That is
never, and she knew some of the missions that were given to her, like when she was sent to Delhi. क्योंकि मदन लाल खुराना पहले सीएम थे, फिर उनको छोड़ना पड़ा, फिर साहिब सिंह वर्मा बने, पार्टी के अंदर कई दिक्कतें थी, एंड शी वाज सेंट एज एन एसओएस, क्योंकि कांग्रेस ने डिसाइड किया था शीला दीक्षित को प्रोजेक्ट करने में, और शी हैड ओनली 3 months. आई थिंक शी
In
टुक
short
ओवर इन
stint.
सितंबर ऑफ
Yes,
98,
yes.
बट दिसंबर चुनाव हुआ,
हाँ.
और उनको पता था कि वो चुनाव हार रही है, एंड उनको ये भी लग रहा था कि बाकी जितने वरिष्ठ मतलब नेता हैं पार्टी में, उनको दिल्ली में ये कर दिए, सामने कर दिए उनको। फिर भी उन्होंने मुकाबला किया, चुनाव लड़ी, एंड शी लॉस्ट। एंड कुछ महीनों के बाद, क्योंकि जब सोनिया उस समय आपको याद होगा 99 में वाजपेयी सरकार 1 वोट से हारे, जब जयललिता ने सपोर्ट विड्रॉ की।
yes, yes.
उसके बाद सोनिया को पीएम बनाने का बड़ा चक्कर शुरू हुआ, जब सुषमा ने बड़ा स्ट्रॉन्ग स्टैंड लिया।
Yeah, she'll shave off her hair.
सो दैट बिकेम ए वेरी कंट्रोवर्शियल स्टेटमेंट। उसके बाद जब सोनिया ने तय किया भाई 2 जगह से लड़ेंगे, रायबरेली और बेलारी, शी वॉज रेडी टू गो टू बेलारी। अच्छा देखिए, कोई भी उत्तर भारतीय एक राजनेत्री को कर्नाटक में जाके बेल्लारी जैसी जगह, बेंगलोर नहीं बेल्लारी,
बेल्लारी, yes.
वहां जाके फिर 20-25 दिन में उन्होंने कन्नड़ा सीख ली। एंड आई वेंट टू द कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी। फिर हमने देखा एक उसकी सबसे बड़ी रैली जो हुई बेल्लारी शहर में, 40 मिनट तक कन्नड़ भाषा में बोली हो।
Wow.
एंड आई आस्क्ड हर कि आप सुषमा जी ऐसे कैसे किया आपने ये, बिकॉज माई ओन मदर टंग इज तमिल, एंड मैं जानता हूँ कि इतना आसान नहीं है कि आपको एक दक्षिण भाषा सीखने का, क्योंकि किसी भाषा, हिंदी हो या कोई भी भाषा हो, सीखने का समय चाहिए, वातावरण चाहिए, लेकिन 20-25 दिन में उन्होंने कन्नड़ा भाषा सीख ली और जबरदस्त झाड़ी। और उन समय में देखिए कांग्रेस बेल्लारी जैसे एरिया में बहुत स्ट्रांग थी, आज की हालत नहीं है, आज की जो कांग्रेस हालत है कर्नाटक में वो नहीं है, बहुत स्ट्रांग थी। इसीलिए आपने देखा जो मार्जिन था सोनिया और सुषमा जी का बेल्लारी मार्जिन 56,000 था, यानी 6-7% की फर्क था।
और यही उनके करियर का टर्निंग पॉइंट भी रहा है 1999 में। हालांकि वो हार गई थी, लेकिन उसके बाद कभी उन्होंने पीछे मुड़ के नहीं देखा, निरंतर वो आगे ही बढ़ती रही हैं। और महिला शक्ति को किस तरह से उन्होंने पेश किया है, और महिला शक्ति का दम यहाँ पर देखने को मिला है, न केवल देश में बल्कि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मंच में। जिस तरह से विदेश मंत्रालय को एक अलग पहचान उनके विदेश मंत्री बनने के बाद मिली है। अगर हम एससीओ समिट की बात करें, वहाँ पर 10 विदेश मंत्री शामिल थे, एक अकेली महिला विदेश मंत्री थी जो की थी सुषमा स्वराज। तो महिला शक्ति को आगे बढ़ाने का काम भी उन्होंने किया।
बिल्कुल, और वो महिला आरक्षण के पक्ष में थे, और पार्टी के अंदर जो 33% आरक्षण की जब बात शुरू हुई, उसके पीछे इंजन सुषमा जी थी, और पार्टी ने किया भी कि पार्टी के जो जितने पद हैं सब पद में 33% की आरक्षण हुआ। और आपने उस छवि की बात कर रहे हैं जहाँ पे वर्ल्ड लीडर्स के सामने एक भारतीय नेत्री साड़ी में बिंदु के साथ एक, मतलब उस इमेज का ही एक अलग, दैट्स व्हाई आई सेड शी ऑलवेज रिप्रेजेंट दैट क्विंटेसेंशियल एक भारतीय नारी, बट वन हु वाज वेरी मॉडर्न इन आउटलुक। जितनी उनकी करवा चौथ बांधती थी या वो चीज़ें को भी बहुत रिलीजियसली शी यूज्ड टू फॉलो, बट एट द सेम टाइम when it coming to empowerment of women, when it came to coming to giving them the equal opportunity and fighting gender bias, she was second to none. And since she herself hailed from Haryana, her own struggle in a male-dominated political world, and the credit must also be given to people like Advani ji, who spotted her talent, because essentially she started in the crucible of among socialist leaders. She was very close to, as I said, George Fernandez,
yes.
Then to former Prime Minister Chandrasekhar, then she came into BJP. But once she was in BJP, and way she used to take up challenge after challenge, and that particular Bellary speech I mentioned, where she spoke for 40 minutes in Kannada, अद्वानी जी उस भाषण सुन के उनके आंखों में आंसू आ गया। फिर मैंने पूछा अद्वानी जी से, आप क्यों ऐसे फील कर रहे हैं? कह रहे कि मैंने इनको एक बल्लारी चुनाव लड़ने के लिए कहा था, ये क्या क्या कर रही है। एंड और दूसरी बात कहूँ मैं, क्योंकि अपने आप को कर्नाटक से जुड़ना चाहती थी, हर साल इसी समय ये श्रावण महीना में, अब अगस्त 9 को, जब आज तो सप्तमी है, कल अष्टमी, नवमी में वरलक्ष्मी पूजा बनाया जाता है कर्नाटक में, कर्नाटक आंध्र प्रदेश में उनकी एक लक्ष्मी की पूजा होती है। सो क्योंकि वो बल्लारी से चुनाव लड़ी, उसके बाद कर्नाटक से जुड़ी हुई थी, तो हमेशा ये वरलक्ष्मी पूजा करती थी। जब उत्तर भारत में लक्ष्मी जी की पूजा दिवाली के समय होता है, लेकिन वो पूरा मतलब जो चीजें करती है पूरा अपना लेती थी, कहती नहीं ये अच्छी कल्चर है, मैं इसमें शामिल होना चाहता हूँ। तो केवल राजनीति उसमें नहीं था कि जहां जुड़ना है पूरा जुड़ना है, जेन्युइनली जुड़ना है। और ये केवल कर्नाटक की नहीं है, मैं जानता हूं कि जब एक चुनाव में, मेरे ख्याल 2004 के चुनाव में, उनको पार्टी ने डिप्लॉय किया तमिलनाडु इलाके में कैंपेन करने के लिए, खास करके जो कोस्टल एरिया जहां फिशिंग कम्युनिटीज रहते हैं, वहां के लिए उन्होंने तमिलनाडु बीजेपी नेता से पूछ के कुछ तमिल वर्ड सीख ली, कम से कम 40 मिनट नहीं है, 10-15 मिनट मैनेज की तमिल भाषा में। तो उनके लिए यह था, हिंदी हो या तमिल हो या कर्नाटक ये कन्नड़ हो, कि भाषा एक माध्यम है लोगों तक पहुंचना।
Right. And the very fact that you're mentioning different facets of her personality. It is not just politics. You're talking about the religious aspect as well, the way she used to dress up, and the way she used to feel, take challenges. For example, Lok Sabha, number of defeats, 1980, 84, and after that coming back as a Rajya Sabha member and then becoming the Chief Minister of Delhi, and then again going back and fighting Lok Sabha elections. That explains, that shows that she was an undeterred woman. Nothing would stop her if she sets her mind onto something, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. There were times, we journalists would try to, ask her कि आपको क्यों भेज रहे हैं, आपको क्यों इसमें फंसा रहे हैं. She would get up and say, मुझे नहीं फंसा रहे हैं. हर पद हो या हर कोई स्टेप हो, राजनीतिक जीवन में एक चुनौती है, मुझे करना है. And she would, you see, a politician's life is full of surprises.
Yes.
And defeats are not easy for any politician. And she knew that some of those contests, some of those positions, even you see when she was a member of the Vajpayee ji government, first she was INB minister,
Yes.
then she became health minister.
Yes.
And as a health minister, she came up with this concept that instead of whole of India, descending on All India Institute of Medical Sciences here, AIIMS, for that super speciality treatment, she mooted this idea that AIIMS-like institutions should be created in other parts of the country. And in her time, 4 AIIMS were launched in different parts. So she was a person who believed that we need to do something more and more. And as a health
And as
minister,
an INB minister also, she made this decision of, telecasting the debates of Lok Sabha live. She was the one who took this revolutionary step. So she never shied away from taking any initiative. It might invite some criticism, but she was not moved.
so she knew how to take criticism in stride. And she had a great sense of humor.
Yes, that's absolutely.
And I remember she was also, when Bairan Singh Shekhawat ji was made presidential candidate, she was his manager. She was his campaign manager. So every evening she would have a press conference where, and people knew that Pratibha Patil would win. But nevertheless, she would, present the case. So that kind of energy, that kind of determination, all goes to show that she was a great lady and a very colorful lady. She loved dressing very well.
Yes.
And her choice of sarees, she has a very good collection. And she had this about each color for each day of the week.
And her typical, the jackets that she
Yeah,
used
jackets
to,
also, and this color of the sarees. And she would say, I prefer these color-wise, because within those colors she had different patterns, different designs. But she would say, this is easier to make up mind.
And even as we speak, we can see those visuals there. Rajnath Singh there, paying tributes to Sushma Swaraj at the BJP headquarters. Remember, the mortal remains of Sushma Swaraj are being kept at the BJP headquarters at the moment for the leaders to pay their last respects to the leader. And after, say at around 4 o'clock, that is the approximately the time given. After that, the body will be taken to the Lodi Road crematorium, where the last rites would be done with full state honors.
बिल्कुल, तो ये भावुक कर देने वाली तस्वीर इस वक्त हम यहाँ पर देख पा रहे हैं। रक्षा मंत्री राजनाथ सिंह यहाँ पर पहुँचे हैं अंतिम दर्शन के लिए। इस मौके पर सुषमा स्वराज को अंतिम विदाई देते हुए राजनाथ सिंह नजर आए हैं। श्रद्धा सुमन उन्होंने अर्पित किए। इससे पहले प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी यहाँ पर पहुँचे थे, ओम बिरला यहाँ पर पहुँचे थे, राष्ट्रपति रामनाथ कोविंद ने श्रद्धा सुमन अर्पित किए और उपराष्ट्रपति एम वेंकैया नायडू भी यहाँ पर पहुँचे थे। और ये तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं। अंतिम यात्रा अब से कुछ ही क्षणों में सुषमा स्वराज की शुरू होगी और इस अंतिम यात्रा से पहले उनके योगदान को, उनके व्यक्तित्व को पूरा देश याद कर रहा है और सलाम कर रहा है।
Live visuals are from the BJP headquarters in the national capital. Remember, in the morning, the body of Sushma Swaraj was kept at her residence, where leaders as well as people from all walks of life came and paid their tributes to their beloved leader. Rich tributes are being paid to former External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. So, the body of Sushma Swaraj being adorned with the tricolour at the moment. The live visuals from BJP headquarters in the national capital.
कुछ ही देर में अंतिम संस्कार होगा सुषमा स्वराज का। उनके पार्थिव शरीर को बीजेपी हेडक्वार्टर से ले जाने की तैयारी अब यहाँ पर की जा रही है। तिरंगे में लिपटे पार्थिव शरीर को अंतिम दर्शन के लिए बीजेपी कार्यालय में रखा गया था। पूरा देश नम आँखों से सुषमा स्वराज को विदाई दे रहा है। शेखर अय्यर जी, बहुत भावुक पल ये होता है। सुषमा स्वराज एक ऐसी महिला जिसने अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर देश को पहचान दी है और उनका जो व्यक्तित्व रहा है, हमेशा दूसरों की मदद करने के लिए वो तत्पर रही हैं और इस भावुक घड़ी में पूरा देश उनको याद कर रहा है, उनके किए कामों को सलाम कर रहा है। किस तरह से आप देखते हैं भारतीय राजनीति में इस क्षति को, इस कमी को?
देखिए, ऐसा नेता या नेत्री बहुत कम मिलते हैं जिनमें एक ह्यूमन फेस भी है, एक पॉलिटिकल एक्यूटनेस भी है और कठिन परिश्रम करके इतना इस स्तर पर पहुंचे। इनका कोई ये नहीं था, कोई मतलब कोई गॉडफादर कोई नहीं थे। हाँ, इनके टैलेंट को अडवाणी जी ने रिकग्नाइज किया, जैसे क्योंकि उस समय के जितने सेकेंड लाइन लीडर्स थे, वो प्रमोद महाजन हो या वेंकैया जी नायडू हो या अरुण जेटली हो या सुषमा हो या राजनाथ हो, तो इन लोगों को पहचानने में और इनको ऑर्गेनाइजेशन काम देने में अडवाणी जी का वो हमेशा एक रहा। लेकिन साथ साथ उसके बाद जो दायित्व मिलने के बाद हर नेता जो अपने एरिया में जो जिस तरह किए, उसमें सुषमा जी का भी अपना एक ये था। खास करके देखिए, बीजेपी का अधिकांश समय तो विपक्ष में ही था, तो विपक्ष में आपको मौका ज़्यादा भी मिलता है अपने टैलेंट को भी डेवलप करने के लिए। और दूसरा, खास करके पार्लियामेंट्री प्रैक्टिसेस में देखिए, आज जैसे वेंकैया जी ट्रिब्यूट दे रहे थे, हाउस पे कह रहे थे ये पहली महिला जिनको बेस्ट पार्लियामेंटेरियन अवार्ड मिला,
एंड बाय अ वुमन, प्रतिभा पाटिल
जी,
she was given the award.
तो ये she was this, and every time she used to get up in the house and speak as a leader of the opposition. She had everyone's attention, and she had best of relations with Congress leaders. But nevertheless, when scams like 2G came, when you had Commonwealth Games, she had to speak in the House, and she had to attack Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. And some of those speeches were very critical, but then she would say, what can I do? I am the leader of the opposition. I have to speak. And come to 2015, when there was a controversy over how travel documents were provided to Lalit Modi,
Modi, yes.
who was then wanted in connection with some financial irregularities, and he had left India.
Yes.
And that was a time, and that was a difficult moment because opposition was saying that this was a great lapse. Somebody like Lalit Modi had been allowed to escape, and Lalit Modi was sitting in London and defending his position that he was not a fugitive. That was a big turmoil time. But none of the opposition leaders, none of the opposition leaders ever demanded that Sushma ji should resign. They were very critical that the Foreign Office had somehow provided those temporary travel documents. And she said that was because a family member of Lalit Modi needed urgent medical treatment, so that's why it was provided. But she came out unscathed.
Yes.
And the Prime Minister stood by her, so did our cabinet colleagues. So whatever the difficulties she faced it with head on. And through this, even in the run-up to, we saw the 2019 elections, you had the Pulwama attack, where she had to do a lot of talking in terms of diplomatic activity, and then Balakot. So wherever the crisis came, whether as a minister or as an opposition leader, she was ready to do more than her part, more than her bit.
And it is very interesting that despite those challenges that you're talking about, that she used to take on head on, even in spite of that, she maintained her sense of humor. She maintained her sense of wit, the verve. And that was very, very evident in her Twitter account, the kind of answers she would give. Sometimes people would be really hurtful as well. But she made sure that she responded to those points very, very effectively, and at the same time making sure that the wit, the sense of humor also shows.
Yeah, I mean, she's just as she had the gift of the gab, she knew how to play with words, and she would respond in very, very different ways to different queries that would come. Because after all, when you are External Affairs Minister, and anybody can tweet, to the External Affairs Minister's handle, and she would always tell the External Ministry officials, yes, you have a lot of tasks, but then you will have to respond to a crisis faced by any Indian anywhere. So that was quite an extra task for these officers. But then she would say this is the best way to solve a problem before it becomes a crisis. कोई भारतीय नागरिक, उनको कहीं भी कोई बड़ा क्राइसिस हो जाता है, कहीं भी हो विश्व में, वो जब तक वो बड़ा ना होता, फिर वो कोई दुर्घटना ना होता, तभी तो दूतावास सामने आता है. लेकिन वो चाहती थी इतना हम ये क्यों करें, अगर हम उनको पहले ही हेल्प कर दें. देखिए अधिकांश कैसे वे लेता, किसी का पासपोर्ट चोरी हो गया, किसी का कुछ पैसा गायब हो गया, कहीं चले गए जहां उनके पास कुछ नहीं है, ऐसी जो नॉर्मल challenges, and she would ensure that they got a duplicate passport, किसी का कुछ पैसे नहीं है, she would tell the embassy to organize some funds. And most cases were cases where somebody's parent dying, और बॉडी को वापस लाना है गांव में, उनकी अल्टीमेट फाइनल उनकी ये करना है, दहन करना है, या ये तो उसके लिए जो ये देखिए ये कॉमन है, और खास करके खाड़ी क्षेत्र में इतने भारतीय हैं वहाँ पे, तो ये सारा समस्या बार-बार आता था.
And yet that sense of humor showed when she tweeted that even if you're stuck on Mars, the Indian embassy is there to help you. So those things, making sure that even with those work pressure, with so much of work that is being done and serious work that is on, people could still smile.
And so much so, her husband Suraj Kaushal said, if I have to communicate with her, I better do through Twitter. That's the only way I can get her attention, because she's so busy with the problems of other people.
तो ट्विटर को एक हथियार की तरह उन्होंने इस्तेमाल किया लोगों की मदद करने के लिए, और यही एक वजह भी रही कि एक और उपलब्धि उनके साथ जुड़ी. सबसे ज़्यादा फॉलो की जाने वाली जो महिला नेता रही हैं वो सुषमा स्वराज रही हैं. 1.3 करोड़ उनके फॉलोअर्स हैं. लेकिन दिलचस्प बात ये भी है कि उन्होंने आज तक किसी के ट्वीट को लाइक नहीं किया है, ना किसी को फॉलो किया.
हाँ बिल्कुल, आपने एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग एक सिग्निफिकेंट डिटेल, कम से कम मुझे पता नहीं था कि उन्होंने कभी और किसी को फॉलो नहीं किया है.
Because she is so busy with her making sure that she resolves all those complaints. That is why probably she had
And
no
those
time.
pictures of her with that girl, Geeta,
Yes.
who, the hearing impaired girl, the way she came here, and then she started helping her finding out who her real parents were, and all that associated thing,
And it was those are very. I remember those visuals
It
very, very
was one of the sad
distinctly.
stories.
Yes.
This girl had in her childhood had somehow gone over to the other side, and then she was taken. I mean, her good luck. She reached Karachi and she was being looked after by an NGO, and then the NGO contacted Indian Embassy and she was brought here.
And I remember those visuals very distinctly because I remember Sushma Swaraj was holding that press conference and she was hugging this girl and she was introducing the media to this girl that ye Geeta hai, ye hamari. And the way she explained and the way she made sure that the issue, however small it may look to us, that it is just a matter of a girl crossing the border, going across to the border, but making sure that this is a humane aspect, and besides her diplomacy and the work that the Indian Embassy and the MEA has to do, she has time for those humane issues, because after all, it is all about human approach.
Absolutely, and I think we must not forget a particular episode. I think of during the Agra summit,
Yes.
when Musharraf came here, General Musharraf, he was then the Pakistani president, and there was a meeting to take place between General Musharraf and Vajpayee ji in Agra. And at that time, I remember just before the actual summit was to take place, General Musharraf met some Indian editors, where he came with the theory that the Kashmiri terrorists were actually freedom fighters. That upset completely the atmosphere. Then she took charge. She consulted Advani ji and said that this statement should not go uncontested. And then she held a press conference. She said India does not accept that line, that the troublemakers in Kashmir are not freedom fighters. They are terrorists. I mean, that way of calling a spade a spade.
Yes.
Of course, she was criticized for for completely that summit going haywire and derailed, and Musharraf went back. Musharraf went back empty-handed for that comments. And subsequently in January of 2014, Vajpayee ji went to Islamabad, and with the same General Musharraf adopted a declaration called the Islamabad Declaration,
Yes.
where Pakistan agreed not to allow its soil to be used by terrorists against India. I mean, I'm talking of Agra summit from 2001, and finally in 2004, and 3 years later, Musharraf came around and accepted that the famous Islamabad Declaration.
Right. All right, let's go across to Akhilesh Suman now, who is joining us from outside the BJP headquarters. Akhilesh, what are the updates that you can give us? Because in the visuals we saw how the mortal remains have been placed at the BJP headquarters, those live visuals and people coming in and paying their tributes. The mortal remains were covered by the party flag and also by the tricolor a short while back. What more can you tell us?
Aishwarya, I'm here. You can see the large queue of people who are standing here to pay the last respect to their revered leader Sushma Swaraj. In both sides, that behind this wall there is a hall. In this hall, Sushma Swaraj's dead body is kept, and you can see both sides there are people standing in the queue waiting for their turns. So earlier it was presumed that her dead body will be here in the BJP headquarters up to 3 p.m. But the way people are, here, I think it will take 1 hour more. So we should not expect that her dead body will go for cremation before 4:30. And in this situation, that we were talking a lot about Sushma Swaraj foreign policy, Sushma Swaraj as minister. But Sushma Swaraj belonged to Haryana, and how in Haryana she was behaving with the people, with the BJP workers here. Here with me is Mr. Raman Malik, who has worked very closely with Sushma Swaraj in Haryana, and he can tell you his own experiences about Sushma Swaraj. It may be very interesting to hear him. Mr. Malik, how did you see Sushma Swaraj?
You see, she was Her native place used to be Palwal, and she fought elections from Ambala. So that was from the south end of Haryana to the northernmost end of Haryana. So she has always been a person who has united people. She's been always the sister, the daughter, the mother that could be. You know, a wonderful experience that we had with her in the Jan Chetna Yatra that Advaniji took out. This was about telling the nation about the black money. And when that note in this, the parliament was brought forward. So after that event, when we went over to, in the Yatra, whenever she used to come in, the core of the Yatra, the workers, she used to be like a sister and a mother taking care. Khana khaya? Kitna chala? Ghar pe kya ho raha hai? Did you call up? Koi cheez chahiye? Should I send somebody over? And you know, I had a lucky chance because 98 when she was fighting from South Delhi, I was one of the managers for one of the areas. And I remember the way she conducted herself, the calm, the poise, the aggression that she had. You know, it is very rarely to find somebody having full aggression, but the calmness with which the aggression is executed.
But she was given very little time to fight Delhi election. But how did she fight?
She fought like a tigress. And she was all over. You must, you know, if somebody would have covered that election the way we do right now with the electronic media, you would have seen the way she did it. And I still remember the way when she assumed the office, we were looking after, I had the charge of...
Office of what?
I had the charge of BJP communication cell. Okay. And when she took over the charge as the external affair minister, when she started this Twitter system, then she had a discussion with us. She called us over that how do you see the maximum potential out of it? And at that point in time, it was like that this should be an open call center for people. And that idea, how to do it and things like this, she took feedbacks from a lot of people.
So you can see, Aishwarya, that Sushma Swaraj was a learner. She did not hesitate to learn from her juniors. And Mr. Malik, one of the juniors who was in communication division of BJP, Sushma Swaraj did not hesitate to learn from him how to run the Twitter, how to communicate with people on the Twitter, about which she is known all over the world, but that she was administering through Twitter. And this Twitter administration has become one of the major tools of External Affairs Ministry that has no history, and I think that it will be very difficult for any minister to be at par with the administrative capabilities she's shown just with the help of one internet and Twitter. You know, Aishwarya?
Right.